Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Christian. Nice to
Good
see
morning.
you. Okay, it's 11 a.m., so I think we will shortly start the webinar. Welcome, everybody. I can see already people from different countries joining the session. Good morning. Thank you for saying hello. If you would like to share with us where are you connecting with us today from, it would be nice to see which country, which city uh, you are in today, and hopefully you have better weather than I have. It's quite rainy today. Okay, welcome everybody on our webinar. This time we have a special topic, I would say, because we will focus on life sciences information in engineering database Knovel. And your host for today will be Christian Wier, who is our global expert for engineering and geosciences. Christian has a lot of experiences, and I hope that all of the information shared with you today will be helpful. And hopefully, you will start using Knovel if you haven't started yet. And also, for users who are already using the tool, we hope that today tips, tricks, advice from Christian will make it this even a better experience for you. So that's it from me. I'm Paula Milewska. I'm today to open the webinar, and also I will be the one who will send to you all the information after the session. And now I will give the floor to Christian. So please, our trainer, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for also setting up this session today and promoting properly. I just had a look into the chat. It's cool to see people from Romania, from Bucharest, I see here, but also from Poland, from Kazakhstan. Thank all of you for joining today. And as Paula mentioned already, my name is Christian Wier. I am from Germany, now living in the Netherlands, and I can tell you we have sun today, Paula. Sorry for you. Maybe you
Ah,
need to come over and visit
lucky
us.
you. Lucky you.
So, and today's focus is then, on Knovel. So I give you a general introduction into Knovel, and then we have a look on what kind of information are available also specifically for the life sciences. If you have questions during the session, drop them into the chat box. We have some time in the end. I will try to cover as many questions as I can. If we don't manage to do it, we will get back to you later on. So, and quickly remove that here. It's getting a message from my computer. And also, if you want to get in touch with me, so you see my email address here. So feel free to drop me a line, specifically also for product related enhancement request. If you think that Knovel is great, but you're missing content, for example, or you do see another great tool that could really make Knovel complete, please let us know. I'm happy to feed that back to our product development team. So if it's good feedback, if it's bad feedback, you're most welcome to submit it. And if you've already experienced with Knovel and you want to share that with other users, also a good moment to do it today. So if you had a great experience and you want to share that, drop it into the chat box. And I'm pretty sure that other users will appreciate also your experience with Knovel. We're already right in the middle of the introduction here, and what will follow next is a presentation including a video. And I integrated the video today because I have a little bit of a sore throat, so I'm pretty sure my voice will last throughout the session, but I want to again show a 5-minute video so you also see a use case. It's a biochemical engineering project, so it's both covered. It's not only the life sciences we cover in this project, There's more, it's about beer brewing, but as you probably know, there's a lot of enzymatic reactions taking place during the brewing process, and also, yeah, microbial activities. But Knovel is not only for the life sciences, it gives you the bigger picture. So if you want to have a look in adjacent disciplines, you might be an expert or you have a certain interest in information, but there is really much more to this cover, and I hope I can show you things that I believe of added value for you in today's session. And if you want to see something in more detail or again questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box. We will take care of them during the session or then after this session. Yeah, after the presentation, including video, we will then have a live demo. So I prepared a couple of examples for you today, and I hope I can show you the most relevant functionalities today. We only have 1 hour time, so there's just no way that I can show you everything. So if you like, and if there's more appetite, we're also having a lecture series where we also go into more detailed questions, or we have hands-on workshops where you can also get active on your computer and do some workflows, some cases, and that's also something. But again, today my main goal for you is, if you haven't used Knovel, we get you access and you try a couple of searches, preferably things you don't know yet. So Knovel is, of course, also there if you found something randomly on the internet and you want to double check if this is really trustworthy, if it's reliable, you can always come to Knovel and try to find a more reliable source than just what you found through Google. So this is one thing. But Knovel can also be your first point where you will go if you have technical questions, engineering questions. STEM in general is, of course, a big topic that is covered in Knovel very well. Okay, then I think it's time to advance the slide again. So you have an idea. So what we want to do for those, by the way, who are familiar with Knovel already. So there's a couple of updates I want to share with you. Although if you've seen Knovel before, there might be a few things in new filter sets, new content that might be interesting for you after all. Yeah, let's get right into it. So if this is the first time you're dealing with Knovel, I want to quickly give you an introduction what it is and what is the added value for you of using it. So Knovel is an excellent way to get to answer your questions in STEM, so to say. And you see, Knovel is not only from Elsevier. So I mean, the product is now owned by Elsevier, but there's not only content from Elsevier on the platform. There are many, many more publishers and societies that you can discover through the user interface of Knovel. And we also want to share with you the latest edition. This is Springer Nature. So that was added last year already, but it's now very prominent. It's also very prominent content on Springer Nature that we have now also available through Knovel, and you can take also advantage of that. But also many other publishers and societies you might heard of or maybe not. It's also not a problem, but it's like Wiley, to highlight here one, the IET, iChemie, AIAA, AICHE, and so on and so forth. Again, this is just a small selections. We passed now the threshold of 170 this year, and we keep on growing. So for your information, Knovel is also now 25 years old, and I prepared also a slide on that to show you the development over the last years. So Knovel is not just, let's call it a startup product. It's been around for some time, exactly 25 years now, and it's really established in the corporate sector, but also in the academic sector and also the governmental institution using it. So what we're also aiming with Knovel is to prepare you for a career in research or even then in corporate. And chances are very well there that if you're now using it during your studies, could be an undergraduate, your graduate, you're a PhD, you're a postdoc, and if you still want to move to the industry, to let's say a chemical engineering company, then you will there's a high chance you will see Knovel there as well, since it has also a huge demand in finding qualified engineers who know also to get questions answered through tools like Knovel and not just browsing randomly on the internet. We also expanded our topics and also, of course, the content areas in general. So hot topics like energy storage, fuel cells, batteries, renewable energy technologies, sustainable manufacturing and technologies, process safety, additive manufacturing, circular economy, but also artificial intelligence and data sciences are very well covered in here. So what I mentioned in the beginning, so the added value of Knovel is not only having access to specific life sciences information, but there's much more around that that can also give you the bigger picture of a topic and can help you as a student, as a researcher, or then really as an engineer. Biggest advantage in Knovel is that you can search all these sources in just one platform, and we have now more than 13,000 full text titles available if you have access to everything on Knovel. Again, everything is full text, so you find it right away in the platform. So again, let me summarize. You have access to all these 170 or more than 170 different content partners through one platform, and you can read your full text right away. So if you're not so much interested in reading or in a text, but more into material and properties, I have also prepared a live search later on for that. So you can also take advantage of the material property search, as you see here in Knovel. So if you're, for example, looking for your research or for a project for a very specific material with very specific properties, you can use the material property search on Knovel, and you can enter a material substance name here, or you can just leave it empty. That's also possible. And then you can drag and drop the properties here from the right-hand side and drop them here in the middle. And in this case, we were looking for information around the stainless steel with density, information around the density, and also here the elasticity, like the Young's modulus. So we find in the end a material that suits our needs. So in addition to all this full text you get there, you can read, you can bring yourself up to speed on new topics. We also offer this material property search, and this is something I also want to encourage you to test either today or later if this is something you want to work with. You get, or let's start differently. We also know that there are many really good information hidden in tables. And why I say hidden, because most of the time we have information available in, let's say, in a PDF or just in an image or in Word somewhere hidden as a table. And it's very difficult to find very specific data sets, and that's why we digitize most of the tabular information from our sources. Again, everything is full text, and we provide them here as tabular information to you. So you can easily find then, for example, a material with all the different properties here on the right-hand side. And this is not static. You can filter in here. You can remove columns, for example, and you can sort as well. And you can export only those, let's say, the first three of interest, and you can export them into, let's say, in Excel, but also into simulation tools if you need these. So it's also an excellent tool to find information in tables, then filter down on what you're actually looking for, and then export those data sets you actually need. We've also digitized most of the graphs. So whenever you go into Knovel and you find something that is interesting, and you also see a graph that comes with a case, for example, or with a chapter you're currently reading, and you see this button live graph, then that means that we have enriched the functionality on this graph. So normal use case would be you would go over the graph. First of all, you have to print it, go over it, and then pick up your data point with ruler and pencil. We offer you a digital way of doing that, so you can open these graphs, and then you can just go on here, pick up your data points, and then they'll be added here on the left-hand side, and then you can export this and use this graph or this image basically for a presentation, if you like, and those data you can also export and add them to your presentation or to your paper. So whenever you find a graph, and there's a button live graph. That means it's enriched and gives you option to, for example, pick up data points like here. And this is, again, just to prepare you what functionalities we have. In the live demo, I will also show you on how to use that. And I also want to invite you now already, if you have access to Knovel and you have a web browser open, you can also search along with me. Then once I'm in the web browser, I will also here and there add a URL into the chat that you can just click on. And if you have access, yeah, feel free to search along with me or search topics that are more relevant to you than the examples that I prepared today. Because I know, of course, engineering as a life science is a very, very broad field. So I picked a couple of examples today, but I know that you probably have also different interest. But again, I want to encourage you to try searching on the things that you might be interested in. We have also more than 3,000 equations on the platform, so you will also see them amongst other results in Knovel. But you can also just go in Knovel and search specifically for an equation, and then you can manipulate these equations in here in these Knovel worksheets, and then also export those. And you can also set up your own equations if you like. That I can already tell you that we do not have a lot of time to go into that. I will do my best to at least show you one of these equations, but there's no time to manipulate or setting up our own equations. But maybe you want to try that later on your own. I will show you where to find the video tutorial for it. You also want to collaborate, could be with other students if you're working on a project together, on a capstone project, or you want to also organize yourself in folders for your thesis, for example. That can also be done in Knovel, but this can also be used in teaching and learning. So if you're a teacher, and you have a course and you want to select materials from Knovel and share those with your students, that can be done. So you can, for example, set up a folder, course A, for example. You can add all your students if you like and invite them to this folder. You add content and your students, they know exactly what to read before the next lecture or what they need in order to pass the exam at the end of the term. Can also be done in a different way. You can select chapters, books, tables, and all add them into a folder. And you can also add those to a learning management system. We generate the HTML code for you, and you can just copy and paste it and add it to into Moodle or Blackboard, for example. So this is where you organize yourself. This is here in the toolbar, the My Knovel section. So you have seen that already before we go into the live demo later on. For those who are familiar with Knovel already, there is also a few new things. And what we added also recently is the engineering news feed for Knovel. And this is an excellent source for you also to stay up to date on a certain topic with these news articles. This is also, by the way, based on user feedback we got. So we collected that, and many users told us, yeah, Knovel is great, but I'm needing more recent information. I also want to know what's going on in the media on a certain topic or with a certain company. And there's no real good source where all engineering news articles are combined. And that's why we developed this engineering newsfeed. And I will also show you in a minute how that looks like. So this is also at your service if you have access to Knovel. Springer Nature, I mentioned it already. We have approximately 300 titles now on the platform. We have also available our engineering overviews, for example, here on hydrogen energy, but there's also many more topics to be discovered like that. Could be helpful for yourself if you want to bring yourself up to speed on a certain topic, but can also be used in teaching and learning as they offer an excellent overview to also discover more in a topic. Content like Paddy's Industrial Hygiene is available, like an industry Bible for that. And we also brought a couple of new facets into Knovel. So if you search for something, of course, you're all familiar with these facet filterings these days, and you can then search broadly and then use the filter set to filter down on what you're looking for. And here we have industry filter sets, and that could also be very interesting for yeah, for also for topics for life sciences, like I see agriculture and forestry, for example, chemicals, food and beverages, manufacturing. And this way you can search broadly, but limit it after already to a certain industry. So you don't have to go to too many search results. So this is also relatively new. Also, in addition, relevant for all engineers, if you're a student or if you're already graduated engineer, is project management. And we have excellent sources on Knovel as well to bring yourself also up to speed before you actually take a project management certification if you like. So there's good material here as well. And speaking of project management, there's also now new content in different languages available. This is also something I wanted to highlight here. So this is the PM book guide, and you can, again, read on project management and prepare yourself for certification. You don't have to do it, obviously. And you can do that now also in different language. And if you see here on the left-hand side, we see French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Arabic, Portuguese, and Russian. And we will also keep on adding more and more titles in different languages than, or other languages than English over the year. So this is also something we heard from many users say, why don't you also offer titles in different languages? And we take this very seriously, and we keep on adding titles, and we're also evaluating other languages than these here on the platform. Yeah, a quick note on the Knovel 25. I mentioned it earlier, Knovel is now 25 years old, and I just want to quickly show you the development over the last years. So what started here in 2001 with just a handful of different publishers, basically as a trial, if this is something there's actually need for, that helps engineers, STEM professionals in their work. We are now at, in 2024, we had more than, I think we had roughly 14,000 full text titles from more than 170 different publishers on the platform. And again, we are present in the academia, but also in the corporate sector. And it's, again, a tool that provides you with, very high quality information. If you want to read more, we have also a dedicated website, the Knovel 25th anniversary, but I just want to quickly point it out. So Knovel is not a new tool, is there for many, many years, and is the trusted source for STEM and engineering. If you're still using a Google, which I know many, many do, I do it myself, and I usually book my flights or my hotels, or I check the weather. But it's not my first choice if I'm looking for engineering information. And we got a quote here from a research engineer a while ago, and I want to share that with you as well, as I do in all my sessions. And he told us that in Knovel, you do the same thing you do with Google, but in Knovel, you know it's exact, something you can trust. Sometimes you find things on the internet you cannot trust. This is the big difference. And keep that in mind. Although you might find something on the internet, could be Google, could be any other search engine, and you're not really trusting it, come to Knovel, vet the information, and then continue. Or if you if you like, you can also bookmark Knovel for yourself, and then you can start searching right in Knovel without any ads or other ads that make you buy things. Helps you a lot, save time and energy. Oh, yeah. So now I would like to take a break for a few minutes, and before we go into the live demo, and that's why I want to share this video for you, with you. And it's a biochemical engineering project. And I told you in the beginning, this is about brewing. And there are also not only, again, highlights on the life sciences here. There's many other things, but this is also why I believe project management is very important if you want to see the whole process and not just a very specific piece of this process. But that shows you in which way you can use Knovel, then, for example, also in the classroom, and also gives you a better idea on how a real workflow would look like in sorry, in Knovel. So I will open my browser and start it video for you. Just 1 second. And there it is. And if everything goes well, you should see it in just a minute. So there we go. Enjoy the video.
For your students to succeed, they need to learn how to get the information they need to independently solve real-life problems, big and small. Let's say that for their design project, they want to learn how to brew beer. They need to understand the physical and chemical processes, and the tools required, the materials used, and much more. This is a scientific project that starts with an idea. Let's make a brewery. But students need to go back to basics. They don't know anything about the beer brewing process, so they need to find reliable reference works to determine precisely what it is they will do and what steps they will need to take. Then they need to model the brewing process. Let's begin. In Knovel, search for beer brewing. The first results are key reference books. Selected chapters help students dig deeper into the steps they need to think about, painting the picture of the process flow diagram, as well as the steps needed to build the brewery. This chapter contains a diagram that explains the process of turning barley into malt, as well as a second figure that helps the student identify and scope out extent of the deliverables they need to shoot for. Additional peer-reviewed content can help them verify this information and identify the specific parameters they need to account for. There are also tools to facilitate citing the information. Here is how this translates into a simple PFD. Barley goes in, process name, malting. Result, malt. Malt goes through different processes to become wort. Then wort goes into the fermenter and beer comes out. Then beer goes into carbonation and packaging and results in a sellable product. Let's focus on the first process, barley turning into malt. When looking that up in Knovel, the student can learn more about the process. The first section shows specific information about what to start with, moisture levels, how much water needs to be lost in the system, etc. The PFD can be updated to reflect this information and would now look like this. The process starts with the drying of the barley. Again, searching in Knovel, the student can find dedicated resources for drying and storage of cereal grains and use the insights to plan the process further. When it comes to what fermentation tank to use, it is essential to understand which materials can host a fermentation process. Using property search, students can look up fermenters and find documents around compositions of engineering alloys, then select a material such as stainless steel type 302. This material itself can also be run in the property search, which delivers the properties of stainless steels. With Knovel, students can design a process from start to finish, just as they would in industry, using information from trusted sources which professors can verify. Find out more at elsevier.com/Knovel.
Okay, so this was our video about brewing. And if you want to re-watch that video, that is possible. And I show you also where. So there is in the Elsevier LibGuides, and I will give you that URL right away into the chat box to everyone. And there, if you go into the chat box now, there is a link that will lead you to the Elsevier LibGuides here. And what can you do here? It's also, oh, sorry for that. You can bring yourself, you can familiarize yourself with certain functionalities of Knovel. So if you want to see something in more detail, then we can do it now during the session. You can do that right here. So what is Knovel, getting started and access, using Knovel, save and share, and also the training and support. And if you would like to see this video again, you can go to using Knovel, I believe it was. No, it wasn't. Apologies for that. Sorry, it was really here on what is Knovel, the very first tab. So, and if you scroll all the way down, you see here designing a bicycle using Knovel, and also the chemical engineering project with Knovel, what I just showed you. You can watch it again. And if you also know somebody who could benefit of Knovel and is not able to participate today, feel free to share the LibGuide with those. And here you can, again, read about what is Knovel, how to get started and access, how to use it, save and share, and also request training and support. Okay, good. Let's go into Knovel then and run a couple of searches in here. So if you would like, and if you have access, you can also search along with me. I also paste the URL now into the chat box. There it is, app.knovel.com. If you have access through your institution, through IP authentication, then you should be able to access it rather easily. I also highly recommend you to use the, just one more second, I want to spotlight, there it is. I highly recommend you to log in. You see it in the right upper corner. This is my name, Christian Wier. And if you already have an account with Elsevier, it could be Science Direct, it could be Reaxis, it could be Scopus, and so on and so forth. You can just use that password and username also for Knovel. And with this, you can take advantage of all the functionalities that are available. Okay, the very first thing I wanted to show you, you remember this toolbar here from the PowerPoint presentation, and you saw it also in the video now. The very first thing I want to do with you, we have a look at Browse, and here you see the overview of all the subject areas that are available. So if you click once on Browse here on the left-hand side, you will see the overview. So now we have many subject areas, 35 in total here, and we have also a couple of premium offerings here. Your subscription might look slightly different. Since I have a demo account, I just have access to everything, and I want to show you a few things that I believe are of advantage. Now, today's focus is on the life sciences, and as you can see here on the left-hand side, we also have subject areas around the life sciences like biochemistry, biology, and biotechnology. And if you want to know more about a subject area, you can just click on here. So just one click, and then you get the overview on what's actually included. And we see here we have 380 reference for only this subject area. And you can see titles dedicated to biochemistry or to biology and microbiology or to biotechnology here. And here on the right-hand side, you see then the titles like, for example, the first one here, 3D printing in biotechnology, current technologies and applications. If you want to see the most recent application, you can also sort on the right-hand side. Yeah, it's now sorted from A to Z, but you can also, for example, the copyright and publication date on top, and then you see that we have also very recent titles on the platform, like from 2025, like medical device, cybersecurity for engineers and manufacturers, or 3D printing and biotechnology, current technologies and applications. And feel free to browse here. And if you want to open a title from here, that can be done. So you just click on the title, and then the next step, you go into the table of contents. And we see here that this is from the publisher Artec House from 2025. You get a little introduction up here, and then you can choose the from the table of contents those chapters that might be interesting for you. And the big question, of course, in the beginning, why secure medical devices? If you want to read about that now, you just click on one of those chapters, and then next step, you go into the full text, and you can start reading from here. And if you see something that is very interesting and you want to keep it, you can, first of all, highlight the text, like you know from any other tool. But a novel, you can also add a note in here. And that's why I mentioned in the beginning, it's good, or it's the best actually, to log yourself into the platform, because then you can also save your notes to your own account. So you can highlight text and you can copy it, or you can add a note. And maybe this is now for my relevant for my capstone project. And I can color code my notes in here as well, maybe green, and I add a note. And on the right-hand side, I see now this text is appearing with my note. This is for my capstone project, for example. If you would like to cite from here, that can also be done. Keep in mind, citing is very important, of course, because you click on cite, and then we generate, either you can just copy it to the clipboard, or you can export the citation in RIS, in bibtext, or as plain text from here. Again, the menu is in the right upper corner if you're here in the reading mode. If you want to save it, that can also be done. You save it, click on here. Oh, there's still a glitch with my account here, but you can then add it to a folder, or can set up a new folder from here. And you can also download a chapter as a PDF, or you can share it. If you're working, for example, in the library and you want to help somebody, you search on Knovel, and then you can share and copy just the link out of Knovel and add it to Teams or to an email. So this is one way to go into the content of Knovel. Again, we started here on Browse on the left-hand side, and we went into biochemistry, biology, and biotechnology. But there's also other relevant content. I just want to pick a few here. Food sciences, for example, could be relevant for you. If you click on here, you see there's over 600 references in food sciences dealing with food ingredients, food safety and quality, for example. Or if we go back, can always use the browser navigation. It's also worth to mention at this point to go back and forth. But also, we have on the platform, where is it? Pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and toiletries, also highly relevant. And again, here it really depends on your focus, what you would like to know. If there's other topics you like to know, feel free to search for those. But also safety and industrial hygiene, obviously very important. And also textiles we have on the platform. And again, you just click on here and you get the overview on this subject area. So this is just one way. If you want to see more around the life sciences, you can always go back in the toolbar. In the left upper corner, you have the little house, and you click here, and you start all the way in the beginning. And this is the more common way. Again, searching makes it much easier for you, because with this search box, you can search through all the, in my subscription, 14,000 full-text titles from all the more than 170 different societies and publishers. And you could just start with typing, for example, life sciences to get a better idea on what this is about. And while you're typing, you get the first resources shown here. For example, Python for life sciences, a gentle introduction for Python for life sciences. So you can also start learning programming with Python, for example, or machine learning in biotechnology and life sciences, CMOS-based sensors and actuators for life sciences applications. We just give you some resources here, and if there's something, again, then you just click on here and you go into the full text. And if you want to see what is in there for life sciences, you just search, and in my subscription I have more than 4,700 results in here. And this is also the point where I want to show you all the different content types we have available. We have, for example, books available, we have case studies available, chapters. This is, by the way, something I always highlight in my demonstrations, is the chapter level filter, because you do not always need a full book in order to get an answer to your question. Often it's enough to just read a few chapters from that title, for example, or collect several chapters from different titles to get what you're looking for. So this is definitely something I highly recommend. And if you want to filter down on the chapters here, you check the box, you apply the filter, and then you get to the chapters. Two more content filters I didn't mention yet are the ones for the conference papers and also for the conference proceedings. Could also be highly relevant to you. And these filters were also introduced, I think, end of last year, if I remember correctly, and can also highlight, again, the conference papers and the proceedings, but also dictionaries, encyclopedias, graphs, regulatory information, and tables. You can also take advantage of the engineering concept filter, if you like, or what I earlier showed, also the industry filter. So if you're, for example, looking for results in agriculture and forestry here, or in food and beverage, or in every other industry here as well. It's again just checking the box, applying the filter, and then you can limit down your results. So this was the overview, and I want to also show you some specific cases on Knovel. Again, I just used the little house to go back to the homepage here, and I see we have only 20 minutes left, so it's time to get searching now. So the very first question I would like to know about the loss of vitamin C during a canning process. So if I put something into a can, and what is the loss of vitamin C in there? So how can we search for it? So we can use this search box for that. And in my specific case, I'm interested in apples. So I type an apple. I connect it with the Boolean operator and vitamin C, because this is what I'm actually interested in. I connected with another Boolean operator, and I want to know about the loss of the vitamin C, and another one is then about the canning process, or when it's canned. So let's see what Knovel has to offer. So we click on search. And if everything goes well, we get results here. So we have 9 results. But this is actually a very good thing, because we had also a very specific search. So I don't have to go through 100 results here. I, in this case, hopefully get exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm not so much interested in the text here. I'm more interested in the tables. So on the left-hand side, if you remember correctly, you have the tables available. So we check the box for the table, and we apply that filter. And now we have exactly one table that provides us with this information. It's about this table 39, loss of vitamins in canned foods. And it's taken from Food Processing Technology Principles and Practice. So in this case, I open this table. So I just click on that button here. And in my case, I looked specifically for apples. So I get exactly this data set for apples. So now there is much more to discover in this table. So again, if I want to see all the other foods in here, I can also remove in the right upper corner what I've just entered in my search in Knovel. So I remove that one for apple here, and I see then everything that is available in this table from this title up here. We see you have beetroots, carrots, green beans, mushrooms, peas, potatoes, spinach, sweet corn. And here we have the loss of vitamin C in percentage. And we see is for carrot, it's very high at 90%, and green beans 63, and so on and so forth. And I can also, again, then take advantage of the functionalities I have in here. I can sort ascending, for example. And I see with sweet corn, it's just very little. And then it goes further up. Or I can sort it the other way around, descending. We're starting with carrots. And from here also, I can then check the ones that are interesting for me. Maybe the 3 top ones here. I can hide the unselected rows in here and focus really on what's important. And then I can decide also that I want to save it. And now it seems to work. So we create also a new folder in here, and we call it Knovel for Life Sciences Webinar. And I can create this folder, add this resource, and I can add all the other resources here as well that are relevant for my project. And if I want to download it, I click here on download and export, and I can choose PDF, Excel, or CSV. In my case, I want to choose Excel. Click on here. And I also want to quickly show you how that looks. So with just one more click, I downloaded this table now, and you see this is in Excel. Let me zoom in here a little bit, and I get here the title, the table. This download shows me only the three top ones that I also selected, and I can now take advantage of this table in here, and I can add other tables in here, and I can start plotting, for example, or get it into simulation tools if needed. Okay, I go back to Knovel. Again, you can also export from here. That's also possible. We have a few minutes left, so I want to show you another search. And this is then not a text search as we just did here in that search box. We want to take advantage of the property search here on the left-hand side. You remember from the PowerPoint presentation I showed you, if you're not so much interested in the text, but more in the materials or substances, you can take advantage of the property search. One click here on the left-hand side in the toolbar, and you are here. So now we're looking for example for beverages with an energy value between 30 and 50 kilocalories per 100 grams. Now, how can I do that here? So since we're looking for multiple beverages, we leave that box empty. But you can also obviously enter a material or substance name here and then collect the properties on the right-hand side. So in my case, I leave that empty, and I'm looking for the property, and that is called energy. Energy content, I think it was. So I drag and drop it from the right-hand side over here into the middle. And here I can be very specific. So now I just get all the data that provide me with information about the energy content, but I want to be very specific, and I want to see those ones between 30. So you've seen it here. We can be very specific here. And in my case, I want to see between 30 and 50. And now we need to take care of the unit here. We want to see kilocalories per 100 grams. And in my case, I get then 28 tables and graphs results. Let's have a look at the results now. So I designed my search query in here. I left, again, the material substance box empty. And I decided only to use the energy content. And it's set now, and we see the results if we click on this blue button here. And now we have 21 tables. Let's see what we have. So we are interested in beverages. So we go through here, and of course I prepared these searches before, and I know that the beverages are further down, but you see there's also more like sweets, like fats and oil, like breakfast cereals. And here we have then the one for beverages, and I want to see this full table now. And I see then here on the left-hand side, my food item, that could be an alcoholic beverage, beer regular, or an alcoholic beverage, beer regular Budweiser, and alcoholic beverage wine cooking. And here you get a good indication of, again, this is highlighted, what I just searched about the energy in kilocalories per 100 grams. Yeah. And again, I filtered that already between 30 and 50. I can still remove that filter and get then a huge data set of 371 different food items on here. Some are higher, some are lower. But again, I have the option to filter that and make it very specific in here. Same thing, we can save it. Let's take the existing folder then for our Knovel for, oh, I'm sorry for that. Let's take the one for Knovel for life sciences. We add this resource here, and we are good to go. And again, I can also download and export from here. but I've just showed you that, so I skip it for now. I want to show you also how to take advantage of our graphs, and I'm interested in benzene. So I click here again on the property search, and in this case, I fill under material substance name in benzene. And I'm interested in the temperature. Oh, there was a temperature. There was a typo. Now we're taking the temperature under thermodynamic variables. Again, we drag and drop it from the right here in the middle. And we're interested also in the water solubility of benzene in water, of course, under a certain temperature. So water solubility, and here we take the first one, the mass basis, and we drag and drop it over here. And we can also connect those properties with and or. So in my case, I'm not going to be very specific. I just want to see the data sets that first of all contain benzene, data sets around temperature and the water solubility. 6 tables and graphs. We have a look now here. And let's have a look. And I use this one, the solubility of organic compounds in water as a function of temperature, from Yaw's Handbook of Properties for Aqueous Systems. And let's have a look at the list of graphs here. And I said we are interested in benzene. And here we see we have an equation plotter. Comes in very handy, and I show you why. So we see, of course, all the minimum temperature, the maximum temperature, the solubility, and so on and so forth. But I can just open this equation plotter with one more click. And here in this equation plotter, I can get exactly what I was looking for. So let's have a look at the variables. So we see the X unit, that is the temperature in Kelvin. So let's change it first of all to degrees Celsius. I can just do that in here. So now we see it's in degrees Celsius. And the Y unit, okay, we can just leave it as in ppm, but I can also change it if needed. So I want to know, for example, now the solubility at 50 degrees Celsius. So I could just go over this graph, and this is what I explained also earlier. Usually you would have to print it and go over with ruler and pencil. We offer you a digital way, and you can hover over, and let's see if we can get it at 50 degrees. And I click on here, I set my my dot here, my point, and I see on the left-hand side, we have here at 50.2 degrees, not very precise, of course, but I see here on my y-axis my result about the solubility in ppm. Now, if I want to make it very precise, I can just type in here 50 degrees Celsius, and I have my result further down here. Same counts. If I want to see it 100 degree, 100, type it in and get my results on the y-axis in here. And again, it will be added here as a point to my graph. Also, we can save it. Again, we save it to our Knovel for Life Sciences webinar, add this resource. And I can also export it. And if I want to use that, for example, in a presentation, I can export it as JPEG, PNG, or GIF. And if I want to export my data here on the left-hand side, then I can click on export and decide whether HTML, Excel, or CSV would be of relevance for me. Just I show you the one for the JPEG. Click on here and you will see it appearing. And this is how it looks like, and you can use it in a slide deck or in a paper, for example. Don't forget to cite, obviously. I don't have to mention it. I know you know that all, and then you can use it. Okay, last search. We want to go back all the way to the beginning, or we can always search on all Knovel from here. But if you click on the little house, we can start from here, and we want to know about big data. And we search Knovel for big data. We get a lot of results here. But now my industry filter comes in handy because I want to know about big data in agriculture and forestry. And I can check this box. So I can make it very relevant with this filter. So because I'm really interested in agriculture and forestry, and I can now see my results over here on the right-hand side. And I can, for example, see here soil analysis using big data and system analytics, and how artificial intelligence is used, of course, in forestry. So this is another one. 6 minutes left. Last thing I want to show you under my Knovel, here on the left-hand side in the toolbar. Click once and you see your recent searches and what you've recently viewed. If you click on Go to My Knovel, you get a new tab. And we find our folder back, Knovel for Life Sciences webinar. And here we see the 3 things we added, and we can easily share that with other students. For example, if we click here on share, I can, for example, add all the 94 participants of today's session, and I can all invite you to this folder. And we can collaborate it. Basically, I can grant you full access or read only access if needed. If you want to export this for a learning management system, imagine you can add, let's say, 10, 20 titles in here, and you want to export this. Export for LMS, one click. We generated the HTML code for you already, and you can export it into Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas from here. I summarize, and then we have time for a few questions. So again, in Knovel, you find a lot of subject areas, not only around the life sciences, but there is quite a big chunk of content that's supporting also the life sciences in Knovel. 35 subject areas plus the premium offerings offers you access to roughly 14,000 full text titles. It should be your first place to go if you're looking for information around STEM. If you find something on the internet you're not sure about the quality, come to Knovel and see if this is actually reliable. As you've seen in the beginning, we have lots of trusted content partners on the platform, and you can rest assured this is high quality content you can use. You can search for text in here with the Knovel search box or the property search, and this way you can discover materials or substances. I want to leave it with that for today. I hope it was interesting and you can also take it to your advantage in the future. And if this was really the first time that you used it, or that you will use it, make sure you bookmark it so you know that you have access to it. If you used it already previously, I hope it was a good update on some functionalities, also some content types, and you keep on using it and also recommending it to others. Let's see. Do we have questions?
Thank you, Christian. So I would say that most of the questions were about, can we get the recording or PDF of the presentation? It's I know it's important because you guys want to get back to the topic and you want to also share with your colleagues. So just to remind everybody, till Friday this week, I will send to you email after this session. You will receive recording of the session, all additional materials, video that was shared by Christian during the session, and all of the links that will be useful for you to go further and engage with Knovel more. Also, please answer the question I asked you, how useful was this session? So hopefully we can see a good results here at the end of the session. And let me check if we have something more on Q&A. Okay, this is it. Okay, I think there are no questions about what you have shown, Christian. So my hope is that everything was crystal clear. At least for me it was. So thank you once again very much for preparing this training and for giving us all of the tips for life sciences in Knovel. I hope it was useful for all of you. And stay tuned. We will have upcoming sessions about Knovel if you would like to go a little bit deeper. I will also invite you to those sessions via email, so I will include registration links for all upcoming webinars. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and try Knovel or continue to work with Knovel.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.